we have your weekend Apple news. Welcome back to the channel. So what do we do on the weekends? We go through the Apple news, right? We go through about 20 or 25 different Apple-related news stories, some tech sales. On the weekends, I usually have one beer here, a Yingling Light Lager right here from the East Coast. Really good. It's a different version of it, super light, super refreshing. So if you like the news, you love Apple stuff, you love tech, put your feet up, sit back and relax, and let's get into the Apple news. Cheers, everyone. Definitely a light beer there. All right, story number one. It's actually from Mac Rumors, and what they're saying basically is if you're thinking about buying a MacBook Pro, maybe you're thinking the M4 version, the M5 next year, or actually this year, later this year, you probably should wait until 2026, October-ish, and get the M6 version. Why is that? Right over here, it says, waiting for the perfect MacBook Pro, 2026 might be the better year. So I kind of went through this whole article here. It says, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman said that he expects only a small performance boost in 2025, right here, due to the M5 chips. And I think that's going to be about 18% on the next version. Obviously, the M4s are fast enough. So you can obviously, if you think that's good enough for most people, right? But they're saying on the one after that, the M6 version, we're going to get all these additional features coming out right then. So what is that version going to get? Number one, OLED display, goodbye mini LED. So they're saying basically all the claims are kind of pointing towards it's going to definitely be an OLED display by the end of 2026. So that's going to hopefully be a big change, obviously, what everyone's waiting for, OLEDs. Now we hope there's not going to be burn-in or any issues. I mean, the first iteration might be a rough one, and this may kind of shy you away from it, right? Because we don't know how the screens are going to react. But overall, that's going to be good news. The big thing here, though, is right here. Thinner, lighter laptop. It says the switch to OLED displays could follow future MacBook Pros to have a thinner design, and rumors suggest that it is indeed what Apple intends to do. When the M4 iPad Pro was unveiled in May 2024, Apple touted it as the company's thinnest product ever. They think they're going to be doing this with the MacBooks as well. Now, how do you feel about this? Post in the comments. They're saying in this article, it goes on to say that, obviously they got a little bit thicker when they came out with the M1, the M2, the M3, the M4, and they want to go back to thinner. But I don't know if that's a great idea, right? Because when you buy a Pro, you're buying it for one specific reason, not to be thin, right? You want it to work correctly. So we're going to have to see how that actually hashes out. These other changes over here, maybe not as big, but they're still useful. Punch hole camera, no more notch. So if you don't like the notch, this could be for you. It's going to have, it says a little teeny dot in the middle. It's going to be kind of like a phone. It has a punch hole instead of an actual notch. And it'll still have like an island or something that comes up over it. So that'll all still be in there. It's going to also maybe have 5G modem. That's actually going to be Apple's brand new 5G modem that Apple's going to design here. What does that mean? That means you can connect to cell towers. You don't have to actually, connect to a hotspot on your phone. That's going to be a big change. And then finally, the M6 series chip over here. And I read through the whole thing, and it's saying basically the 3 nanometer is going to probably be with the M5 chips. But with the M6 chips, and this one I'm talking about here in 2026, the end of it, it's probably going to be the 2 nanometer chip as well. So it's going to be quite a bit more efficient, better battery life, probably faster. All these changes are coming. So you have to decide, should you get the next one or the one after that? I know it's about a year and a half away. So for all it's worth, it is what it is. If you need it now, just get the M4. All right, story number 2 really gets me upset, and I think we've talked about this quite a bit, but it's just kind of interesting how this is progressing here. Right over here, this is from Mac Rumors. It says Apple plans to release delayed Apple Intelligence Siri features this fall. Now that's actually good news. It says Apple plans to release the delayed Apple Intelligence this fall. It says in early March, Apple said it was going to take longer than expected to roll out the more personalized Siri experience. Of course, this is the failed Apple Intelligence. And that these features would be rolled out in the coming year. Then basically later on, I went to go say that they were delayed till 2026. So this keeps changing, but there's a lot of resources. I read through this whole thing. A lot of resources now saying they're putting so much pressure on everybody there to come out in the fall of 2025. So actually, and who knows if it's going to be half-baked again. We hope not, but at least we're getting a closer timeline here. It's getting smaller, that window. And overall, though, how do you guys feel about Apple Intelligence, all right? Now, I'm going to get into some other stuff about intelligence later that's going to show you that a lot of people just don't care. But overall, I think it's still, pretty bad. Okay, so now this next story, the good news for Apple, though, is this, because obviously Apple's they mentioned they're kind of slow rolling it because of security. That got in the way, and that's actually, I think, a good thing. And the reason it may help them in the long run, not the short run, but the long run, is this article right here from the 9 to 5 Mac. It says, U.S. adults see AI largely as a threat, revealing Apple's opportunity. So the article goes on to say just what I just said. It's saying that, and I'll get into the stats here, but it's just basically saying that by Apple taking this approach, they don't think they're missing from the key buyers anyway too much because those key buyers don't trust AI. And I don't know, the older population, I think that's true. But look at these stats over here. It says, what really surprised me was just how negatively the general public views AI. So it says, for example, 43% of respondents believe the increased use of AI is likely to harm them. Can you imagine that? 24% think it'll benefit them. Look at the difference there. And 33% were unsure. This is actually over 5,000 adults participated in this study here, plus 1,000 AI experts. Look at 6,000 people. The next study down here says, when asked about the impact of AI in the U.S. over the next 20 years, 35% say it is a negative impact. 17% said positive. Imagine that. The rest were either unsure, obviously, or they didn't know. But basically, look at these differences here: 43 to 24. It's over double, and double in some cases, I guess, under double there. But you get the idea. So they're saying the article is this is an opportunity for Apple to finally kind of get it right with all the security, then come out with it, and they can still win all these people back. You guys tell me, though. I mean, I'm starting to use more and more of ChatGPT with various tasks and stuff, and it is nice. It's just that the security needs to be there for Apple, but they need to catch up quickly. Okay, so now we have a couple sales here, and post in the comments if you think these are good sales or not. Number one here from Micro Center. This is actually going to be, here it is right here, the 14-inch MacBook Pro. This is the M3 Pro, not the M4 though. 36 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD. That's huge. 36 gigs, 1 terabyte. $16.99 right now, down from $2,299. $16.99, under $1,700 for 36 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte. Granted, the M3 Pro chip, but still, that's as good now as the M4 chip. Basically, it's kind of a wash, and I'll show you that later. Pretty amazing deal, right? The next one over here is going to be the 14-inch MacBook Pro, but this is the M4 Pro chip, not the M3, M4 Pro chip. A whopping 48 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, $25.19. You can see it's usually $2,800, so it's around $280 off. That's a good deal as well, right? That's the M4, the brand new one. And I think if you're a video editor or a higher end user that has a channel like this and stuff, although I'm not really a high end user, but if you have a channel, this is actually a good. You can make your money back with it because it's going to save you some time. And then finally here, another one from Micro Center, and definitely check out Micro Center if you're close. Go drive to one. They're incredible pricing. Here we go. This is the brand new iPad. This is the 11th gen right here. So it's going to have the A16 Bionic chip. You obviously 120 gigs of storage. It's down to $314 right now. I think this is the lowest price I've seen it on sale so far. Now, granted, it's only $35 off, right? It's usually $350, but still, pretty good sales are happening all around, even though these supposed tariffs are coming. And like I said, with the tariffs, I think what's happening is already, they've already talked to the administration and they already said they're going to give companies breaks. I think they're working on the breaks behind the scenes. So I don't think any of these tariffs are really going to make a difference to Apple. I think they'll get out of them one way or the other. They just have too much money. It's just going to take maybe another month or so. So while you can run out and get a whole bunch of stuff if you need it, but don't buy something you don't need now. I think it'll all be back down, especially around Christmas for sure. Okay, this next article is actually pretty interesting to me. Now, hear me out for a second, because when I first read this, I didn't completely understand it. But then the wheels started turning, and it makes a ton of sense, all right? Here we go. 9 to 5 Mac. It says, here's why the M4 MacBook Pro is one of the best purchases you can make right now. And I'm not going to get into the article. I'll just explain it to you in a couple different ways here. But a lot of people may say, well, isn't it the M4 Air, MacBook Air? Well, no. Think about this for a second, all right? So if we go all the way back to last year, the M3 or whenever the M3s came out, you'll see here that if you got the base level 14-inch M3 MacBook Pro, it came just with the M3 standard chip, 8 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabyte SSD, right? And you had to pay $15.99. If you wanted the M3 Pro chip, remember, you got 16 gigs of RAM and stuff, you had to pay $19.99. Remember that? So it was $19.99 and $15.99. But this is the kind of the 8 gig version you didn't really want. So let's just look at this next thing. This is from Nano Review. So if we compare the new M4 chip right here, see it right here? It's not the Pro chip, just the M4. It's actually 22% faster than last year's M3 Pro chip, not just the M3 chip, but the M3 Pro chip. Look at this. That's single core Geekbench 6. On multi-core, the M4 chip, not the Pro, is basically the same, or it's claiming a little faster than the M3 Pro. So if you think about it this way, if you buy the $15.99, which is on sale right now for less than that, the $15.99 M4 MacBook Pro, which is the M4 chip, it's basically like you're getting the $1,999 from last year, because the chip is faster and you're getting the RAM, you're getting the extra RAM and everything. So you're basically getting that for like $400 or $500 cheaper. So in theory, you're basically buying the Pro at that base level model from last year, and it's a steal, right? And you're getting it on sale sometimes. I've seen it for like $13.99, and do the math on it. It's just crazy. So I think that's by pound for pound the best MacBook you can buy right now, and it's all most people are going to need. Okay, this next article is just interesting if you use your phone for a lot of filming, or if you do stuff like I do. And if you don't, it's still kind of cool. Mac Rumors right here. It says the iPhone 17 Pro, so it's got to be the Pro version of next year's model, or the version coming out next, maybe not next year, rumored to offer dual video recording option feature in the camera app. So there's a lot of rumors that it's going to look like this thing with this giant camera bump and stuff, but that's not what this is talking about. So, this is from Front Page Tech and stuff, but it's saying basically there's a lot of rumors now where, and we think this is almost 100% now, it's going to let you film basically forward and backward at the same time. So if you hold up something and you're kind of talking about it, you'll be able to film your face, and then you'll be able to film what you're actually seeing. So when you make videos and you want to talk about something out there, you can put yourself in like a corner or something, and people can see you talking. There's a lot of uses for this. I mean, it might be, I can't exactly, you might want to film two different games at once. There's a lot of different things you can use it for, but I think that's the way most people are going to use it. So you can actually have two of the cameras working, one in the front, one in the back, both doing like video recording at the same time. So I think that's a huge feature for a lot of, I guess, creative people. I could use it in a couple of cases. It's not going to change my mind too much, but I think a lot of people will use it, like vlogging and stuff like that. So you guys tell me, is that a feature you might like? Okay, so I actually have an M4 Pro Mac Mini sitting over there. So if you're actually somebody like me that has Thunderbolt 5 now, this could actually be a huge game changer for a lot of people. They don't know the price yet. That's the problem. But here we are, Apple Insider. Promise is the name of the company. So it says, Promise Thunderbolt 5 enclosures boost speed and storage for Mac creative workflows. They're obviously showing a studio there, but let's scroll down. So if you scroll down here, this thing's called, right here, you can see it, the Pegasus 5 M8 from Promise. It says the Pegasus 5 M8 is a compact Thunderbolt 5 enclosure designed for fast portable workflows. It now supports 8 NVMe SSDs in either the E1S or M.2 form factors, and delivers up to 6,000 megabytes per second throughput, enough to handle 4 and 8K video projects. So this thing's going to hold up to 8 NVMe's at Thunderbolt 5. Can you imagine that? And again, I don't know what the actual price is. Now, if you go down here, this next one over here, which is going to be probably atrocious as far as the price, the Pegasus 5 R12, same thing. It's Thunderbolt 5, and it can go up to 6,000 megabytes per second. Now, this one actually, let me just see here, this combines 12 SATA hard drives and 4 NVMe drives. So you can do 12 SATA hard drives, I guess normal hard drives, and then 4 NVMe drives. So, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not much more, because obviously it's not as many NVMe drives. You get the idea, but it looks like a lot bigger. So anyways, these things are coming, and depending on the cost, that's the key, because you still got to put the drives in them. These could be pretty cool. Okay, I hope everyone's having a great weekend. It's actually pretty sunny out in the Chicagoland area for once. All right. Got a couple sales here now, just from really quick ones, and we'll get back into the stories. Number one over here, I've actually used this before. This is actually a really good thing if you want something like this that's cheap. Right here, this is by a company called INIU. It's a USB-C charger right here, 2 ports. So you get basically USB-C in there, and then USB-A, you can see it in there. And what is it? It's a 45-watt super fast charger here, but only 16, 17 bucks. So you can obviously charge your iPhone. It also comes with the USB-A in case you need that as well. And it's up to 45 watts for under 17 bucks. Can't go wrong with that. I hope nobody complains about that price. Now you got kind of a low price alert here. I think it's on the fringe here. Here is on Amazon again. This is the Apple Watch SE. If you want the kind of the cheapest watch before the new SE comes out, it's down to 169 bucks right now. 40 millimeter one here. You can see kind of the unique band there and stuff. So it might be, it's called carbon neutral, whatever that. Well, I guess that's the name. That's actually what they do. I thought that was the name of the color of the band for a second. Who knows? Anyways, you get the idea. It's just the SE here. So we're going to keep moving. And then this last one, I thought, you might not be maybe you're just don't have an Apple Watch. Maybe you're on a different platform. I actually have a Pixel phone and I have an iPhone. So maybe you're like me and you want to get the Galaxy Watch. This is one of the best deals out there. Here's a Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra, 47 millimeters, so it's going to be giant. LTE AI smartwatch. $378 is 42% off right now. Usually $649 right here. You can see it right here. So, that's a great deal, crazy deal. So if you're on that ecosystem where you want to at least try it, give it a shot, right? You never know. Almost half off. Okay, let's keep moving here. So this next story is a combination, I think, of 2 or 3 articles, which I'll finally get to the point, I promise you. But number one, Apple Insider says iPhone still coveted by teens, but other Apple products not so much. And we're going to find out what that means in a second, all right? So here we can see the picture. Now, if I go down to this chart over here, it's basically saying like 85% or 88% of teenage respondents said that they own an iPhone. 88%. This is the United States, mind you. In the United States, 88% of teenagers own an iPhone. Think about that for a second. And look at it, it's been going up continuously all the way since 2015, and now we're all the way up here. Maybe a little bit down, but it's more or less exactly the same there. That's pretty crazy. And then this is the huge surprising thing. So remember Apple came out with the Vision Pro. They're thinking it's the future of everything. They kind of tout it as replacing your phone. And I keep saying that's not going to be the case, even if it gets cheap. And I'm going to kind of prove it to you right now. Over here, this one actually is from Mac Rumors as well. It says teen iPhone ownership continues to soar. Kind of the same similar articles I just showed you, but it's got some different information at the very bottom. Right here, approximately 31% of teens own a virtual reality device, all right? That's not even a lot, but most of those have an Oculus, 25% of them. So they have the Oculus, the Microsoft version. Just 1% of teens have an Apple Vision Pro. Just 1% of teens have an Apple Vision Pro, which did not surprise given the price of Apple's device, all right? But let's just see in here, what else does it say? This is the thing that got me. It says basically 60% said that they seldom use it of all the kids that have them, including the Microsoft one. 60% said that they don't use it, even if they own it. So think about that for a second. 1% of teens versus 90% of teens. 90% of teens have a phone, 1% have the actual Vision Pro. We know it could be because of the cost. So remove that and go to the Microsoft version. It's only like $400. 31% of kids have that, but 60% claim they never use it, right? And you use your phone 20 to 30 times a day. So there we go. So there, case closed, right? I don't think it's the future. There's no way. There's no way people are going to be walking around with those things on their head. I won't. I don't think you will. It's nice. It's novelty. It's good to wear them and watch a movie or something, but that's about it. Okay, so with all that information I just told you, what does Apple do next? This is the funny thing. Typical Apple right here, Mac Rumors. Vision Pro 2 may now be in production ahead of launch later this year. So a second generation Apple Vision Pro may now be in mass production ahead of its rumored launch later this year. So they're trudging forward, right? They're going forward. And to make this even worse, it says right here, although Apple's work basically on an enhanced Vision Pro model has apparently stalled, there are strong indications that the company will release an incremental update with the product with limited changes to its physical design, such as the chip upgrade only, according to the information. So only like a chip upgrade, it's the same size, the same weight, probably going to be close to the same cost. It's probably going to go down a couple $100. And there we go. 1% of teens own it. I know this product is going to be good for other things like corporations, and there's obviously very specific things, but for them to go out and say it's like the future of everything, I don't see it, especially for like the next 10, 15 years. I just don't see people wearing them, but again, we're moving on. Okay, this next one, I just want to touch on this one more time because it is still on kind of a super sale right now. This is actually a portable power station right here, and I've been using it for a long time. I actually hook up lights and stuff. The reason I like this little one here is because it's got power plugs on it. See it right there? Put that down. If you look at my screen, look at this, $149 right now. Usually $269. It's 44% off. It's basically 70,000 milliamp battery here, about 7.4 pounds. If you click on here, it's got, here's the power plugs in here. It's got 3 USB-A, it's got a USB-C, it's got a place to plug in DC output, DC input. You get the idea. It's got a whole bunch of stuff. It's got a screen on it that can output all of the information for you. But still, it's still on super sale, and it's been working great for me. I take it around with me, and I plug in lights and stuff. If you do that kind of stuff, if you work in the garage, it's great. I mean, this is only up to, I think, 200 and something watts. You need a bigger one if you're going to be doing like super high-end power tools. This one's more for like small stuff, charging laptops. You can do some small stuff with it, like any type of lighting and stuff, like LEDs and stuff, work perfect. So that's how I use it, and I don't have to worry about plugs. Anyways, it's still on sale for $149. Check it out. Okay, so with all the turmoil with Apple right now, how are they doing as far as selling their product and stuff, as far as computers? That's what we're interested in. We want them to do good, right? Still pretty good. Look at this. It says Apple Insider. Apple gains ground as PC market heads into rocky 2025. So I just wanted to show you this graph down here. So if you look at this chart over here, it's quarter one 2024 market share here, and then quarter one 2025 market share. So you can see basically it went, this is Lenovo. They actually went up from 22.8 to 24.1. That was a pretty good jump. HP here just went up 0.2. You can see from 20% to 20.2%. That's pretty, pretty, I guess it still went up, right? Dell, though, here went up. They actually went down to 15.4 to 15.1. So they're actually going down. But look at Apple over here. They went from 8% to 8.7%, which is a 14% jump. See that over here? And then Asus over here, same thing. Asus went up 11%. All others, though, went down 3.6. But if you look at this column over here, Apple's the one that stands out here at 14.1. So they grew the most market share of all the competition. All the other brands besides these actually went down quite a bit, which is crazy. The average is about 4.9, but Apple grew 14%. So, that's all good news. I mean, you can't only ask for that much. I think that's good news for the industry. And you guys tell me, what do you think? Okay, we got a feel-good story about the Apple Watch. I love hearing these stories here. This is from Mac Rumors. It says Apple shares emergency SOS Apple Watch success story. Apple today shared a minute-long video. You can find the video on Apple's website over here. But basically, this guy Sherman, this is just a reenactment, was swimming in Byron Bay when rough seas pushed him from shore. The current basically carried him 1.5 kilometers from the beach. He couldn't get past the waves, and after 20 minutes of trying, he realized he needed help, obviously, but he had the Apple Watch. He called emergency services using the SOS feature on the Apple Watch with the call played back in Apple's ad spot. Basically, they kind of did an ad on it. He was able to source help, and he stayed on the line with emergency crews for an hour until they directed him to his location. So it says emergency SOS on Apple Watch can be activated by holding down the side button to call the local emergency services. So another person was saved by it. So again, if you're out there swimming, I mean, I know some of the other watches are really nice because they look nice and they're expensive and they can go really deep and stuff. But really, this is the one you want because it can save your life. Okay, so we've all heard about the iPhone 17 Pro, like the big camera bump, and we don't know if it's true or not, but all things point that it definitely is, right? We're going to get that big camera bump. Here's some of the new cases coming out, at least some of the rumored cases coming out. 9 to 5 Mac, iPhone 17 Pro cases show just how massive the new camera bar will be. So you can see the cutouts here. They're going to be the whole thing and also maybe a third down the phone as well. This is just more stuff coming out. I mean, a whole bunch of these phones, I was reading through the article, but there's a whole bunch of examples of this, of the manufacturers ramping these up. So we're going to get that no matter what. So whether you like it or not, it's on its way, and we'll see how people react. Okay, so we know that the $599, the iPhone 16e is too expensive, but there's a lot of deals you can find out there. Now, I'm not associated with them. I mean, there's a million of these things, right? But to get the price down, you want to do something like this. This is from Total Wireless here, and I use Mint Mobile, which is fine. I mean, it's definitely great. So, I mean, you can use these kind of off-brands. They work phenomenal. But look at this. So here's the iPhone 16e. So basically, this is the deal that they have here. It's you have to port your number over, but then you'll get the phone for $299 only. It's usually $599. So you get that, but you have to just have 2 months of 5G. So you have to move over to their plan. Let me just go over here. So you have to be on their plans. Let's go to phone plans here. Let's just see what it is down here. See if they actually have. So you have to go here, at least this base contract for 2 months. And they have $40 a month, 5G hotspot, unlimited data for that for $40 a month. Not bad. But you have to do this for at least 2 months, port your number over, and then they're going to give you the phone for $299 for the new Apple phone. So you're saving $300 there. So if you're thinking about moving anyway to a new service provider, or you want to open a new line maybe or whatever, that might be a good option for you, and you're going to pick that phone up dirt cheap. Okay, if you're an iPad mini lover, you know what I'm talking about, right? People that love them, and you want to just buy the cheapest one, kind of a burner one, just to have, just whenever you're traveling or something. Here's a good one right here from Best Buy. It's the Apple. It's going to be refurbished though, but it's got with Wi-Fi, 64 gigs, Starlight, $269 right now. They're claiming $230 off. It's usually $500. I mean, obviously it's refurbished, but still $269 right now in Best Buy. So you can go there and pick this up for $269 for the Mini. So I think it's a good deal, right? Now, granted, it comes down to condition. Looks like it's got really good reviews and stuff. So I think you'll be fine. Okay, so with Apple, we've heard a ton of information about these tariffs and everything. And what's it doing for companies thinking about moving to the United States? Well, we're going to find out, right? But here's one example right here. Mac Rumors says key Apple supplier eyeing production move to the U.S. in response to tariffs. It says Apple supplier Luxshare is weighing the possibility of manufacturing some products in the United States as it seeks to address the implications of new tariffs. And they're actually the ones that make big part of the earbuds, basically. And so you can't go, obviously we don't know if this is 100% yet, but it looks like they're in talks to move some of the production over here. And I think that's the ultimate goal, is to get some of it over here. And I think for Apple, long term, I'm talking long term, it's probably going to be an advantage to not have this kind of have China have such a stranglehold on them. Whether you like it or not, I mean, I know there's both sides of the whole story, but getting them to diversify, even if it's just a little bit more to us and then some other countries to diversify it to other countries, I think that's going to be a good thing. So we'll see how this kind of comes about. But so far, I'm thinking everything will kind of slowly get there. It's going to take some time, though. Okay, so we heard about the iOS 19 changes on your phone and stuff. There's going to be a completely new change as far as how it looks and feels. And what are they thinking here? So this is Mac Rumors. It says all the design changes rumored for the iOS 19 so far. And you can see some pictures in here, and there's a whole bunch of changes coming. But let's just kind of scroll down to the ones that they actually are going to talk about. So first is Vision Pro, like design it with translucency. So they're going to have some translucent screens on here, like the Vision Pro. That's number one. A glassier look is number two, whatever that means, but you can kind of get the idea of how it's going to come out. Subtle lighting effects as well. So the glassy look will involve subtle lighting changes such as the spotlight glint for some UI elements when you move the iPhone. So some little elements of that. More rounded, expanding buttons. You get the idea. So it's going to have rounder buttons. Pill-shaped tab bars. All right, we get that. Round app corners, maybe. Simplified navigation and controls, and cross-platform cohesiveness. So, I mean, whatever that means, right? You get the idea. So there's a whole bunch of these things change. It's going to be basically a design change. And this is where, again, Apple has to be very careful. And I talked about this before, where you want to change slowly, not fast, because of, if you change too fast, people lose, they forget where things are, they get frustrated, they bash you online. So these subtle changes, but this looks like it's not going to be a subtle change. So iOS 19 is coming soon, and we're going to see what it's all about. Okay, so let's say you don't want to subscribe to Apple TV for too long, but you want to watch some of these good shows. I mean, there's a lot of shows you can just binge watch them and then basically cancel Apple TV. Now is the time to do it right here. It says right here, 9 to 5 Mac, Apple TV subscription available at 70% discount for a limited time. So just take note of this. It says, let me get in here. Apple TV Plus is available here at a 70% limited time right now. From now until April 24th. Today's going to be the 12th when this launches. The new and returning subscribers can get Apple TV for just $2.99 per month for 3 months. See that? So if you have it, you can basically have it for 3 months. You pay like $9 or $8 something. That's it for all of those months. $2.99 a month. You can get all of your binge watching in, watch a couple of the series, and then just cancel it, right? That's the way to do it. So if you're thinking about getting in there just to kind of poke around and see how, is it worth it or not, now is the opportunity. You get a full 3 months. I've actually done this where I've turned it on to watch some hockey and stuff back in the day, turned it back off, and it works. They're really good at canceling it, so don't worry about that. And now jump in. Okay, if you're looking for a very inexpensive watch band and you like olive green, we got a sale right here from Best Buy. Here's the Insignia braided nylon band for the Apple Watch, and you can see it right in here. It's just a band, not the watch. $5.49 right now. You save about almost $15 here, usually $20. You get the idea. Obviously, if you click on it, it's going to have the Apple Watch connection. But you get it's got like a band on the back. It's actually, a buckle, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So you're going to have to like that as well. But still, these things keep getting cheaper and cheaper when Apple's, they're charging like $100 for a band or something. You can get these so cheap. It's just, I don't know. I just wanted to kind of showcase that one because it is cheap. Okay, this next one's actually a pretty good deal here because if you're thinking about a computer that you just want something, you don't do a lot of stuff, you just want to check mail and do some stuff, just like the computer I have sitting right here. This is the M1 iMac. You can pick it up now on eBay over here. Now hear me out. eBay right here, $699, but hold on one second. 24-inch iMac. It's the M1 8-core, 8 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD. So you do get a double. You store, you're obviously getting the faster SSD here in excellent condition. So these are going to be refurbished, but I've read the reviews on them, and it says basically in the thing, it says it's going to be like brand new. That's what they're telling people. It's almost brand new. So if you think less than $700 now, 54% off of the normal cost, and it's the exact same one I have sitting right here. I mean, they're good enough for a lot of people. Let's just be honest. Now, not everyone's going to want to buy this, especially with 8 gigs of RAM. If you're doing a lot of AI stuff, if you're like cutting edge stuff. But I mean, if you just want a computer for bills and do stuff like that, these are perfect. So $699, I don't know this company, but I read through the reviews and stuff. Just wanted to showcase. It's called Guaranteed Cellular right here. You can see it. So I'll put a link to this in the description. You guys can check it out if you want to. Okay, this next one's actually another sale we have going on here. This is from OWC. They have all of their Thunderbolt docks on sale right now. Here's an interesting one. It's a little bit older technology. It's $179.99 right now, usually $279. So you get $100 off. You can see it in here. Let me just kind of scroll down to like what's the claim to fame. So again, this is a little bit older tech. It's not Thunderbolt 5. They're claiming just Thunderbolt. So you're still going to, it's still good enough for, it's way faster than just 10 gigabit per second ports. It's Thunderbolt, so that's good. But look at this. So on the front, you get the micro SD card, the SD card, the headphone jack, USB-A, USB-C. And then on the back, you get all these USB-As, which you just get a dongle, all right, and you're going to be able to use those. It's got actually like a digital in if you want great sound quality. It's got the gigabit port as well. It's got a Thunderbolt basically out as well. And then this is where you connect your computer Thunderbolt-wise right here. And then it's got a mini display port, and then it's obviously got a power jack there. But you can see all these ports. for 179 bucks and being Thunderbolt, so it's still going to perform fairly well. I read through the reviews, so pretty good sale right now. Okay, so Instagram. Now, I don't use it at my age, but I know a lot of people out there do. I don't know how many people are watching this video, but I never realized this, and it's kind of funny just to report on this, but finally, it's available on the iPad right here, 9 to 5 Mac. Instagram is working on the iPad app. So it says, Instagram is working on an iPad app according to a new report from The Information. I guess they're working on it. Yes, you read this right. After 15 years, Instagram is finally making a dedicated app for the iPad. Can you believe that? So they show a picture here. You used to have to put it from an iPhone app onto your iPad, and it was like really small like this. But now they're going to make it its own designated one, which 15 years later, they're finally doing it. It's crazy, right? So if you're one of those users that like to do it, me being my age, I don't, but maybe you do. For all it's worth, it's coming soon. Okay, cheers, everyone. We're going to wrap this episode up on the weekend. Again, there's not tons of news going on right now, so I'm just doing my best to kind of report some stuff here and have a good time on the weekend. So we'll try to make this better, I promise you. But right now I'm just so busy with everything. I just got to kind of put the news as far as I can find together in a day or two and get it out. But later on, I'm going to try to make this into something more consistent and something better. But we'll find out what that's going to be. Anyways, we'll talk to everyone in the next one. Very smooth. And like I always say, right? Peace.